and I can tell people I came home from the Marine Corps. I ran it for 10 years. I loved it for 8, and now my brother runs it. But we've heard from all over about increasing freight fraud, and you mentioned that in your testimony, and basically inserted several times in your testimony. This is devastating to small businesses and owner-operators as well. Losing out a few $1,000s can actually put them out of business because they work on such a thin margin. Now, not only is it a huge problem for small carriers, but it also undermines trust and stability throughout the supply chain. Now, you mentioned multiple types of frauds, but have you seen any action from FMCSA to deter, put up a stop to supply chain straining and safety risk of rising freight fraud? And when I say that, they insert themselves into the line, and you may believe it's a decent broker that you're trying to work with, and you may be out somewhere and you're trying to get a backhaul or whatever. And then all of a sudden, you get the load, they get the money, and you can't find them. Do you see anything that's being done right now to try to deal with this in the industry?
First of all, I heard your and Representative Collins' backstory, and you're living the dream. So, great question. The short answer is no. But if I may clarify, please, the fraud. So I'm a freight brokerage. I'm not a carrier. The fraud I see is more. If I wanted to simplify it, oversimplify it, I would say it's carrier fraud. But it shouldn't be carrier fraud. This is really important, I think, for this committee to understand. It should never be seen as carrier fraud. It should not be seen as broker fraud. These are just criminals. And now, I mentioned earlier in my testimony, too, that we move pharmaceuticals. These are multi-million-dollar, one pallet of freight loads, right? We know that criminal activity follows these trucks because they know where the drugs are made. They follow the trucks, and they wait for an opportunity. So this is the same kind of individual. It's the same. They're just criminals, and they're utilizing FMCSA to maybe sign up as a brokerage. They're signing up maybe as a carrier. So please don't. Please, when we're thinking about this, really important to be thinking about it as criminals using government agencies to masquerade as someone else. And in some cases, they don't even use the agency. They use a false address. They could use my address, and they could pretend to be someone that they shouldn't. One of the really important things, I go on the radio, I talk about this on road dog trucking, and one of the things that I talk about anytime I talk to an owner-operator is there needs to be more education. My grandfather started his business with 2 retired people in an apartment building in New Jersey, and every single person from 1961 through today, we do credit checks on. We don't rely on there's got to be some bond, there's got to be something protecting us. We do credit check, and we turn away business that we can't afford to take on because we can't trust. So it's really important that you do all of your homework when you're in business, and that's the longer answer. But FMCSA, no, they need to do way more to help us.